Good morning, people. So, firstly, I feel too small to talk about Ashtavakra because this tremendous giant of spirituality, the work he has left us, his Ashtavakra Gita, is so immense that to say anything about it is a misunderstanding of the Ashtavakra Gita. So, I acknowledge that to say anything or to think anything about Ashtavakra is to misunderstand Ashtavakra. But still, we're gonna indulge in this folly. We're gonna indulge in this folly because I have this tremendous reverence for Ashtavakra. So, along the course of this spiritual journey, I have come across various philosophies, various philosophers, various scriptures, everything that one goes through, I have mostly gone through. And if at the end of all this you ask me, which is the one thing, or what is the one thing that is had the most profound impact on you, I would, without a shadow of a doubt, say it's the Ashtavakra Gita. So, by this statement, you can realize the tremendous reverence and the respect and the regard at which I hold Ashtavakra. And something in me impelled me to talk about him. I don't know what exactly it was, and I did not even want to delve too much into the reasons why I wanted to talk about Ashtavakra. Uh, Maybe that is something that could happen, me not trying to delve into the reasons, because Ashtavakra has had this kind of an impact on me. So, yeah, without delving into the reason, let's start talking about Ashtavakra. Uh, how do we start? What does start mean? How start usually happens? I really do not know. So we'll just go with the flow. I'll just go with the flow. Whatever the flow brings, it will bring. So, very few things are known about Ashtavakra, if any. About his personality, about his biography, we know very little. Yeah, and the little that we know is also not very factual, but highly symbolic. And it being factual or non-factual is not really important. What we can really understand from the Ashtavakra Gita is that whoever might have written it must have been an incredible man, a man beyond everything, a man that even the gods would have fallen at the feet of. So, yeah, the few things that are known about him, let me begin talking about that. So, firstly, there is the story in which Ashtavakra is still in the womb of his mother. He's not yet born, and there is a ceremony going on in which his father is reciting some mantras from the Vedas or some shlokas from the Vedas, and suddenly a voice rings for the voice shudders from the womb, which says that father, this verse that you're reading, you have mispronounced it. And then he reads the verse and tells his father, this is how it is to be pronounced. Isn't it incredible? Well, yeah, upon hearing it, the father got very angry. The father got very angry because he was a distinguished scholar, well versed in the Vedas, well versed in everything that the Hindu philosophy holds. And he was also a father. So add the both things together, the ego of the scholar and the ego of the father. And when you add this, it becomes a tremendous flame. And the tremendous flame did actually, really bring out the worst of his father. He cursed thereafter his to be child, and he said that you will be born with you'll be born with 8 deformities in your body. Your body will be crooked from 8 sides. Right now you have a very straight body, but Ashtavakra was deformed to have a very crooked body with 8 bends in the body. Now, this story is like many stories from Hinduism, is pregnant with a lot of truths. Is is tremendous. So, from my understanding, or from the understanding that my mind has received from this, I would like to share with it without. Yeah. So, firstly, Ashtavakra speaking from the womb. Uh, Ashtavakra speaking from the womb is highly symbolic because it shows that Ashtavakra has exhausted everything. He in his previous incarnations he has gone through the whole course that one usually has to go through in order to attain salvation or moksha in Hinduism. And the usual course is one in which one reads the Vedas, one does his activities according to the Vedas, one does meditations, yoga and other things. So it seems as if the man or the child that is about to be born is somebody who has known everything, who has done everything, and who has gone through everything, so much so that he's speaking from the womb. So we can understand from the story, we can understand that Ashtavakra is a man who took this incarnation for a very specific purpose. And the specific purpose was not to carry on the lineage of the various spiritual paths that we take, but his incarnation was to destroy all the paths that a seeker usually goes through. And we will see why it is so further on. But it's a beautiful, remarkable story. So yeah, that's the first story, and the second story is one in which he reaches the court of Janaka, King Janaka, who was a remarkable king. People used to call him Rajarishi, which means he was a king who was less like a king and more like a sage. Now, King Janaka, for his entire life, wanted just one thing. He was a great ruler, a great king, a very noble king. He was like a sage ruling the kingdom. Everybody respected him, everybody had a high regard of him, and he was so pure that he had a daughter like Sita. So you can understand the purity and the incredible and tremendous nature of King Janaka. But King Janaka yearned to know the truth. King Janaka used to invite a lot of scholars in his royal palace, and used to make them do this thing that we call Shastrarth. It's a debate between various scholars upon the various things that are propounded in the Hindu philosophies. So yeah, King Janaka was this kind of a man who yearned only to know his true nature. So he was having a debate in his royal court, and there was a scholar by the name of Bandi. So Bandi was a great scholar. Nobody could ever defeat him in a debate, and there was a rule at that time that whoever lost to Bandi had to take Jal Samadhi, had to throw himself to the waters, and I don't know exactly how you would call it in English, but yeah, everybody that lost to Bandi eventually had to die by drowning himself, by being drowned in the water. Yeah. So now Ashtavakra's father also went against Bandi in a one-on-one debate, and Bandi eventually won the debate, and as a result, Ashtavakra's father had to take this Jal Samadhi. So some years later, Ashtavakra entered the royal court of Janaka, and when he entered the royal court of Janaka, everybody started to laugh at Ashtavakra. All the scholars who were well versed with the Vedas, who were well versed with everything that Hinduism says, started laughing at this boy who was at the age of 12 or 13. Everybody started laughing on the boy. King Janaka was looking at everything; he was not laughing. And upon seeing everybody laugh, Ashtavakra also started laughing. And Ashtavakra started laughing in a more intense manner than the other scholars. So King Janaka was confused. King Janaka asked Ashtavakra that, "Dear son, I can understand why all these scholars are laughing at you, why all these people present at the royal court are laughing at you, but I don't really understand why you are laughing." Uh, Ashtavakra, after taking a small pause, which he must have taken, said to King Janaka that I am laughing because in this court you're having scholars who are discussing the highest truth, and They are so ignorant, they are so stupid, they're so idiotic that they cannot look beyond the body. In Hindi, it is even more strong. If you read it, he says that chamaron ki sabha mein satya ki charcha ho rahi hai. In the court of cobblers are somebody who only sees leather. In the court of cobblers, you're discussing truth. That is why I'm laughing. Isn't it a matter to laugh about? He asks Janaka, and continues his laughter. And then begins the debate between Bandi, who has never lost a debate against anybody, and Ashtavakra, this 12-year-old boy. So Bandi would have really been very hesitant to debate with Ashtavakra, thinking too low of him. But the debate began, and soon Ashtavakra began to thrash Bandi in this debate, and he resoundingly won the debate between him and Bandi. So King Janaka and everybody that was present at that court became awestruck of this young boy. How could he do it? How could he do something that nobody had ever done? How could he be so refined in spirituality that he could beat somebody like Bandi? And the whole court became illuminated, and everybody started chanting Ashtavakra's name. So yeah, we can understand that this boy would have had a tremendous and an incredible impact on King Janaka. So King Janaka, being this illustrious king, he did not immediately go to Ashtavakra and fall at his feet, but it is said that the next day King Janaka, very early in the morning, somewhere at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. probably, went outside the house of Ashtavakra and fell at his feet and asked for knowledge. So, yeah, these are the two stories that we know of Ashtavakra, and these two stories are enough to tell us what kind of a man Ashtavakra would have been. Being deformed from 8 sides, what does it show? Having a physical body like Ashtavakra would usually mean that, like everybody says, that you have to perfect the body. There are so many schools of yoga that are only for this. Hatha yoga has this intention that the body must be absolutely straight, absolutely right. Everything has to be absolutely in the right order for you to receive the highest truth. And here Ashtavakra's body was deformed from 8 sides, not one side but 8 sides. Still, he had truth. It shows that truth, there are no requisites, there are no conditions. If you have a highly intuitive mind, you can reach it despite all the obstacles that everybody tells you of. So, this is highly symbolic, and it is also very liberating that a man like Ashtavakra attained the truth because it frees us from so many superimpositions, it frees us from so many ideas that we usually have about truth. And his whole Gita is only about that. His whole Gita is only to take away all the ideas that we almost consider as truth, or we consider as absolute requisites in order to reach this state of salvation or moksha. So, yeah, it's a very liberating book, a tremendously liberating book. The whole book is full of verses that are liberating you from everything, not only from the mundane, not only from the profane, but also from the sacred or the enlightened. So, yeah, a verse from the Ashtavakra Gita, let's talk about it, is which says that your only bondage is that you practice meditation. Now, everybody tells us that we practice meditation to be free of bondage, and here Ashtavakra is reversing the whole thing and taking us to the a strange place where he is saying that because you practice meditation, you're in bondage. Because every time you practice meditation, somewhere something inside you tells you that you're in bondage, and okay, now you're in bondage, so to be free of this bondage, you have to meditate. But you're not really meditating, you're only strengthening your bondage, because you're telling yourself that you're in bondage and you're doing this exercise to free yourself from something that is not entirely true. You're not in bondage. You're never the mind, you're never the body. It is the mind that tells you that you're in bondage, and it tells you that you're in bondage using certain ideas that are given to you, and you never question those ideas. You never question the conclusions that you get at using those ideas, and that is why you're in misery. And to be free from this illusory misery, you fall into or you do so many things to free yourself from this misery. But there is no misery, really. It is only the mind that always keeps you occupied with everything. And you're not the mind, buddy. And well, so many people in spirituality tell us that you're not the mind, you're not the body, but the way Ashtavakra does it, and we will go through all the verses of this Gita eventually, you will know exactly the tremendous way in which he's going to such corners of the mind which for an ordinary man would take many lifetimes to go. So, yeah, we'll begin this journey by talking about Ashtavakra Gita tomorrow. Thank you. And please forgive me because I'm not an expert in all of this. It is just a matter of the heart. I love this man. I want to share whatever understanding, crooked or otherwise, I've I have of this man, and I think Ashtavakra would approve me of taking this approach, the approach of no approach. So yeah, thank you for listening. If you've listened.